I had a customer come by with these speakers, the Marantz Imperial 7s, that had some issues. The foam had on the front grill had decomposed years ago, and somebody went ahead and just put some regular cloth material on there. So he said that he liked the fronts of the JBL L100s and wanted those to be put on the front of the Imperial 7s. He said he wanted them a brown color, and as you see, the L100 foam just doesn't fit correctly. It's a little wider and it's a little shorter than the grill from the Imperial 7s. So I went ahead and I made these. He said I told him that there would be an issue that I have to fill in on the bottom, some wood or something like that to make up that difference, and then cut the edges so that they would fit in to that area. So I went ahead and I did that on this one. And he also said he wanted the foam to be like a dark brown color. So this is actually a dark bronze, and I did that because it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. So I don't know if you can tell, it almost has like a glitter effect on the front of it. But anyway, so I did this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and document it this time with this one. So the process is, here's the back of you have like a little wood frame here for the foam to be adhered to. But I'm going to use the cloth because when it's stretched, when the cloth is glued onto this material, if it's stretched tight, will keep the foam from moving around and looking like it's warped on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and like the other one, I went ahead and pried these tacks off of here and then stretched the material back onto here, but a lot tighter because it's real weak right now, as you can tell. When it's real tight, it'll hold that foam real well. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto the face of this and paint it brown and trim the sides off as good as I can, because I ended up doing it with a pair of scissors and worked out fairly well. And then trim up this wood for the bottom and the top out of this piece. Basically take it and cut it and then make it smaller so it fits into this area here. So anyway, I'm going to get started on that and kind of do this step by step. First thing I'm going to do is take a putty knife and pry up on these, and these are thumbtacks that someone used to hold the cloth down onto the back of this masonite hardboard that will hold the foam. So let me pry those up and I'll be right back. So that took about a whole 2 minutes, but anyway, so I'm left with a bunch of thumbtacks and the loose material. And the reason why I take this off once again is to re-stretch this and make this tight. So when the foam glues to this, it doesn't warp. It stays very straight. Of course, it's a one thumbtack, it won't come out of there. Anyway, I take this off, the grill off. So there's this extra foam that was, I guess, glued on here, and it's bumped up, and I want to remove that. Let's see if I can show that a little bit here. It just takes a little elbow grease to remove that from the masonite. And once I get that off, then I'll have a nice, fairly level surface to work with, and then I'll stretch the grill cloth back on there. So I cleaned off the old glue off of the top of this, at least as good as I could. And it's pretty smooth right now. It's just those big bumps that would have made a difference on the foam. So anyway, I'll turn that over and put this grill cloth back on, and I'm gonna adhere that with hot glue. That seems to work pretty good for me. Let me go ahead and spread that out here. Tough working with one hand. Should have used my tripod, but anyway. We'll take that and we'll re-stretch the material on here to make a nice tight material backing in these holes so that the foam doesn't warp. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. While I'm waiting for my glue gun to heat up, might as well start cutting the edges of the foam. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to fit inside the edges of the speaker, so they have to actually tuck in. So the edge of the speaker is going to push on this. So the edge doesn't need to be perfect. So what I'll do is just start at the end and get as close as I can to that raised edge without cutting the raised edge. So as you can see, it's not perfect, but once it pushes into that edge, it's gonna straighten right out. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut both sides, and maybe my glue gun will take 10 hours to warm up. I'll probably go ahead and paint this too. I'm just using a Rust-Oleum dark bronze, and it's seen, as long as you do light coats, it doesn't do anything to the foam. My glue gun finally heated up, so I was able to tack down one side of the cloth on this masonite grill frame. So what I'm going to do is take the cloth, stretch it around the other side, and do the same. So I get this material nice and tight. So now I went ahead and I glued down all the edges and re-stretched this, and I think I've gained probably about a ½ an inch between the two sides, top and bottom, and there's not a lot of spring left on these. So now I have a nice flat surface to glue the foam onto. Now I'm going to use a spray contact cement. Put that on the face here, on the edges and through the center where I won't be blocking the speaker. Put a little bit on the back of the foam, and then carefully place that so that it's right at the edges. The edges are equal on both sides, and the ends I have the same amount of space at both ends. So that's a little tricky. Got to get this lined up, and usually takes a couple of tries of pulling up and pushing back down. But take your time, be slow. Everything is patience with this to get it done right. And then after I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and spray this a bronze color, and then we'll work on the wood trim. So I went ahead and did that. I sprayed the contact cement all over both surfaces, and now I'm pressing it. I lined it all up. Hopefully it's pretty close on both sides as far as the amount of room that's sticking out on the edges. Push that down and keep pushing that down. I should probably put some weight on here, but it seems like this stuff is sticking really well. So I think that's going to be it. So there we go. It's not going anywhere. Just keep pushing this down. And get that hit here as well as possible. The ends too, but especially on the sides. Press it really good. It'll be tough to take this off if I make a mistake. Okay, I can even feel it on my fingers, so go through and press this. Ends. There's the ends in place. Okay, feels pretty good. It's on there pretty well. So now it's time to spray. Nice and easy misty coats on here. Nothing close up, nothing to clog up the foam, because we still need the sound to go through it. So I've gone ahead and trimmed both of these pieces at the bottom and the top. Went ahead and cut them to length, and then sanded them down so they're considerably shorter than they originally were. And now I'm going to take these and put some gel stain on them, and then a satin urethane on top of that, and then glue them on. So I've basically painted these trim pieces with gel stain. And the thing I like about the gel stain is it allows the wood grain to still come through. But the problem with gel stain is that it stays, you're supposed to wipe it off. If you don't wipe it off, it stays sticky and it dries, takes forever to dry. So what I do is I come over this with, in this case, I'm going to use a satin urethane, and what it does is it hardens up the gel stain. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. After reviewing this, I realized I didn't explain the gel stain very well. What it does is when you wipe it off, it just doesn't look very good, and it lightens up areas and leaves some darker areas, and it's much better if the gel stain just stays on as you put it on. So that was what I was trying to achieve, or what I tried to achieve, is very consistent coloring all the way through the wood. So this is how it ended up. The pieces are glued on, everything's finished, and here are the two side by side, the two grills, and you can see they look pretty consistent. So I'll try to get a shot afterward, after I give this to the customer, and see if he'll shoot me a picture of the grills on the speakers. So anyway, hope you enjoyed.